Before we get this video underway, I wanted to give a big thank you to those who commented about zombie movies and what they preferred in the most previous video. If you want a chance to be featured in the next Canadiens video, stick around to the end for a comment down in the comments to let me know if you made it to the end. But with that, let's begin with the actual video here. And, you know, this is kind of a really funny topic, and it certainly will be the more lighthearted one of the two in the videos we upload here today. Because I already kind of planned out what I wanted to do for Monday, December 28th, in terms of the videos uploaded, because spoiler alert, even though this is technically the first video of today, I've actually already recorded the second video of today, but because of the target and the fan base of the different videos we're uploading, I'm uploading this one here first because time zones are a thing. But I was scrolling through TVA Sports looking for a topic to talk about. You know, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, Monday, December 28th, PST, and I was like, okay, I need a video topic for what is to be a few hours into the future, and I stumbled upon this article on TVA Sports, and I'll read you the headline right here. The Boston Bruins might miss the Montreal Canadiens. And I read this and I was like, huh. That's an interesting idea right there. What do you have up your sleeve over here, TVA Sports? Let's check this out. With 100 points in the standings and 70 games, the Bruins dominated to claim the President's Trophy last year. However, with the changes of the divisions, it will be interesting to see if the formation of Boston can repeat this feat during the next campaign. Then they start talking about the divisions, and they also talk about how the Canadiens, for the first time in their history, will not play the Bruins in the regular season. It might not be a bad thing for the Habs, since the Bruins had won 3 of the 4 games between the two clubs in 2019-20, with a 19-8 share of the goal scoring. Now, Cam Neely came out and talked about how he doesn't really think of it as much of a big deal when it comes to the fan engagement, I guess, because when it comes to talking about teams that hate each other and the fan bases involved, the biggest thing you get out of it is a rivalry, you know? The teams on the ice don't like each other, the fans in the stands don't like each other, the fans on social media especially don't like each other. And Cam Neely said, I don't think it will take long for rivalries to develop, he projected as quoted on the Bruins website. Obviously, there's history between us and the Rangers, for example. Now, if we go over to the NHL divisions, we have ourselves what is a very interesting piece of imagery that comes up when you start thinking about rivalries. The Bruins and the Canadiens, these are lifelong rivals. Things get intense at the Garden, things get intense at the Bell Center, things get especially intense during the playoffs, and things get even more intense on social media. But hey, they're not going to play each other. And when you take a look at the divisions, you have yourselves what are probably some other really interesting rivalries that aren't even going to touch each other once the regular season begins. Not even is it just the Montreal Canadiens and the Boston Bruins, but the Maple Leafs and the Bruins. These two teams are not going to touch each other either. And, you know, that's going to be kind of funny to see the Toronto Maple Leafs go out there and probably not play against Boston for, what, a calendar year? A calendar year. Yeah, it's gonna be since March. Same with the Maple Leafs and that little Columbus thing you guys flirted with towards the end of the play-in series that eventually didn't really boil over into anything more because, hey, it stopped right then and there. The Vancouver Canucks are not gonna touch any of the teams that they spoke to in the postseason last year. Minnesota? Nah, they're not going to play Minnesota, nor are they going to play St. Louis or Vegas, not unless any of these teams actually win their divisions and make the Final Four in the NHL in the playoffs, which I don't want to say is likely, but there definitely are some of these other rivalries that just won't even get close to being rekindled. Winnipeg, Nashville, ooh, this one is nasty. The line brawls, the overall animosity between these teams, it's nuts. And you're not going to see it because Winnipeg and Nashville are not going to meet each other at any point unless, of course, they make the end of the playoffs together. And on top of that, we are going to see some new rivalries as well because, hey, you know, you have all these other teams playing each other 10 times a year. It's going to get feisty. That Tampa Bay-Dallas series, oh man, that's going to be crazy. We're going to have Dallas Stars fans coming out here talking about Game 7 and Game 8 and Game 9 of the series that was the Stanley Cup Finals. And it's gonna be weird seeing these guys playing each other so much because normally they wouldn't, right? Like Tampa and Dallas, like, no, they're not gonna play each other 10 times a year normally. Then you have, of course, the California teams. These guys are gonna be seeing each other more than ever, plus the Colorados and the Vegases over there as well. And then, of course, going back to the article, the Bruins, they're going to have their fair share of rivalries with the Rangers, the original 6 teams, and all that stuff. That Eastern Division actually has quite a lot of rivalries going on. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh is over here, Pittsburgh, Washington, the Crosby-Ovechkin thing. Yeah, that's honestly pretty fine. The New York, New Jersey connection is there too, plus the Sabres. Yeah, the Metropolitan East Division is pretty much going to be fine. And of course, you have the North Division too. Every single one of these Canadian teams is going to have so much hatred for all the other Canadian teams by the time this is all said and done. You just know that during one of these Battle of Albertas between Edmonton and Calgary, you're going to have a whole bunch of people that are going to come out here and talking about how one person did one really dumb thing or threw one really bad body check in one of these games, and it's gonna haunt the rest of the series because that's how it goes here for the Battle of Alberta. Things get worse as things go on. You have that Winnipeg-Toronto connection, and you know they normally aren't like super big rivals in my opinion. It's just the Matthews-Laine thing gets so out of hand and so comical that it's just noteworthy to talk about in my opinion. And then you have Vancouver with pretty much every NHL team that has a nice young center at their disposal. You have the, oh, is Pettersson better than Draisaitl or Nugent-Hopkins arguments from Edmonton. And then you have the, oh, is Pettersson better than Matthews discussions from Toronto. And then you have, oh, the Pettersson and Kotkaniemi discussions in Montreal. Factored in with the fact that Kotkaniemi did indeed trip Pettersson and like take him out for a while back in Pettersson's rookie year, which put a target on Kotkaniemi's back for Canucks fans. Canucks fans just love hating on this guy, and it's funny because I'm like right in the middle because, yeah, it was an accident. I don't really care that Kotkaniemi did that anymore, but like, still, Kotkaniemi to me is a good player that's going to be good in the NHL long term. And then, of course, you know, all the other teams over there, Montreal fighting with Toronto, yeah, that's going to be pretty big. Edmonton, Calgary, of course. I'm just interested in what's going to eventually be some of the big playoff races we're going to see. Because when you're competing for a top 4 spot in your division, things can get really, really wonky with the schedule we have, where some teams, like for example the Anaheim Ducks, if you go over to the Anaheim Ducks schedule for this 2020-2021 season, look at this, the last 9 games will start off with a 5-game series against the Kings. Let's say at the start of this series, the Kings and the Ducks are neck and neck in terms of the standings, and, you know, there's one spot left. One spot left to clinch away a series. I don't even know if it's mathematically possible for anything to be clinched on April 20th, like 2.5 weeks before the season ends or whatever, but just go with the analogy. And they need to fight it out for the playoffs to get the last spot available. Like, that's gonna get heated, especially towards the end. Imagine if it's Minnesota and Anaheim, 1 spot left, and the Minnesota Wild have, I don't know, like a 3-point lead or something in the NHL standings, and they're in the last spot for this division series of playoff teams. And the Ducks are like, whoa, we need to win both of our last games in regulation in order for us to proceed. If the Wild get a single point, they clinch. Like, that's got drama there. A lot of drama. And that's going to be at the end of the season after the Ducks already play the Minnesota Wild, I don't know, like 8 times beforehand, sometime in the season. It's going to be wild, pardon the pun. And I'm just looking forward to seeing all the storylines that are going to develop because this is going to be huge, huge fodder. But let me know in the comment section below, if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, you know, how do you feel about the Boston Bruins? Do you guys feel like you're gonna miss them? Do you think you're actually gonna miss the rivalry and the hatred from playing the Bruins? Or will you not because the Bruins beat the Canadiens most of the time last year? Tell me in the comments below. Also, talk to me in the comments about General Zod, because we took comments from Cam Neely, the Boston Bruins president, and Cam Neely makes me think of kneeling, which makes me think of kneel before Zod, which is a General Zod thing. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you made it to the end by saying General Zod for a chance to be featured in the next Canadiens video. But I hope you enjoyed this edition of Trolls 99, and bye.